We go back to budget, and on this we are joined by Mr. Rajiv Kumar, Vice Chairman of NITI Aayog, the think tank of the government. A very good evening to Mr. Kumar. First of all, for common man, we saw certain things will become expensive, like petrol, diesel, gold, and also certain small things. But what will become good for a common man is very few. So what was the overall thinking behind all that?
Well, one would love to know the definition of the common man. The one who is buying gold is, well, perhaps in your parlance is a common man, but maybe not in mine. But on the other hand, the fact that for the home buyer, for the one who buys ordinary house, there is an income tax deduction which has been increased. That's very good. I think the emphasis on agriculture, the emphasis on overall growth and employment generation, I think is very laudable for the growth. The common man today is interested in this economy growing at a faster clip and generating more jobs. That's the key for the common man. And if you include our farmers in the common man, then there are several things, there are several measures here which are there for that set of people, which are the farmers, including the Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Yojana, which has been now expanded, the additional expansion on Manrega, the continued increase on rural development schemes like Saubhagya or Ujala, and the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, which will give money to the fishermen of this country. So I think there is several lot here, which is by which the common man will benefit.
All right, from electric vehicle, well, the one commendable step is definitely offering more as an income tax rebate, and there's a dream to make India a hub, a Detroit as far as electric vehicles are concerned. So, but going forward, there would be some supporting infrastructure required to enable all that revolution, the green revolution, electric revolution to happen. So what about that?
Well, thanks a lot for recognizing that we have a dream for making India a global leader in electric vehicles. NITI Aayog has been playing a very major role in all of this. We had the National Mobility Mission is based in NITI Aayog, and the Finance Minister, you would have noticed, also announced that she will roll out a package, the government will roll out a package to attract very large scale, giga scale, battery manufacturing into India. As far as the infrastructure is concerned, let me remind you that you don't really need much of an infrastructure for two-wheelers and three-wheelers, because they can use small-size batteries which are easily swappable. The government has recently announced also its a directive that all gas stations along the highways will have recharging units located there. And for the public buses, and we have estimated that the longest commute route that a public bus has is about less than 45 kilometers. So that is sufficient. That's not long enough. That's just good enough for a battery to be supplied to it, so that it can be charged back in the depots that they have. So there is the infrastructure already available, and plus the fact that you've got the biggest problem of it all was the battery manufacturing, which will soon be tackled. So I think we are well on our way to make this very important transition to electric mobility in our country.
And it's very good that somebody has touched upon this subject of tenancy laws, because clearly those were ignored over the last few years. So this time a blueprint on tenancy laws would be there. So what all can be expected, like a common man? Will he find it easier to rent a house? Will it be easier for the term and conditions will be there finalizing? So what kind of things can be expected from these tenancy laws?
Well, on both, you should expect movement and progress on both counts. One, for the tenants to have their own rights well defined, and so that they can expect a better deal and contracts and clear contracts between the landlord and themselves, and so that's one. But I suppose equally important, if not more important, is to assure the homeowners, the landlords who are renting out their land, that they do not face those uncertain prospects of their houses being taken over, as it were, by the tenants, and they have security of property in them, because we know, you and I know, that there are probably lakhs, if not millions, of apartments and houses in this country which remain locked and are not available in the market for tenancy. And I think once we have that Model Tenancy Act, that supply would increase, and you would also get more investment as a result in the housing sector, because the people, the HNIs, would start then investing in properties for renting them out. So I think that it's a very important subject that had not been taken up yet, and you will see the details in the coming few weeks.
Well, markets last time interim budget, clearly Sensex touched 40,000 mark and it made history. Today, markets were not so happy with the budget this time. So clearly something is troubling them there.
Well, I am one who believes that you don't follow the markets, because markets are like donkeys. If you follow them, they kick you. It's better to ride them and take them forward. And I think this budget will see that, because the markets will soon realize that this budget is a accelerating, a growth-oriented budget, and they will soon realize that there's a lot of scope here. For example, this particular suggestion of increasing the float from 25% to 35% of public listed companies will increase the amount of shares and of equity that will be traded in the stock exchanges. That in itself will push the markets to a new high, because there will be a lot more equity to be traded there. So I think, the markets take little time. They work a lot on sentiment. Maybe they didn't like the tax on the super rich. One doesn't really, we can't really figure out what drives the sentiments in the market in the immediate run. I'm confident that Indian equity markets will touch new highs in the coming months.
All right, thank you, Mr. Kumar, so much for getting us all these details and joining us on this important day of Budget 2019. With this, that's all today we have in this edition of WION Wallet. Thanks for watching us. Have a good day.